Welcome to NET Vaper Reviews. Today's review is a mouse to long RDA, not RTA, RDA. And today we're going to review the Tokamak mouse to long RDA by Unicorn Vapes. I don't know how to come up with these names. Tokamak. And it comes in this lovely pouch. Yeah, so how did I get this tank and what is the reason behind this review besides reviewing this tank? Well, you know, if you watched my reviews on naturally extracted tobacco, mainly is my good old Geek Vape Amit mouse to long RDA. And I've been very happy with it, except for a few niggling problems, and one of them is the cap that is sometimes not easy to get on, especially if you don't put VG and lubricate these O-rings. But as flavor goes and airflow, it's very good. The flavor brings out the flavors of the naturally extracted tobacco I review, perfect. But the guys in the office have decided that I need something a bit better and a bit newer, and something that I'll be able to open the cap and close without a hitch, without a struggle. So they went and bought me this mouse to long RDA from Nature Vape's website, and this is not cheap. This is £54. It's a lot of money for an RDA mouse to long. I mean, you can buy a top RTA for that money. Yeah, so they were hoping that I would enjoy it, the flavor and the build quality and the draw. There's a lot of money to risk, but I must say I'm very happy with this tank, and especially for what I need it for. Reviewing naturally extracted tobacco. But before we go into the pros and cons of this tank, let's go down to the build and wick that I've done a few days ago, and then we'll come back up top and we'll talk about it. One thing I ought to mention, when you'll see the build and wick, and I mentioned this liquid Pinaco that I used when I build and wick it, and I said I have to upload this review for this juice. Actually, the review is, I did upload it, yeah, so this is already uploaded to my website, to my channel. So just a correction before you start watching the build and wick. Okay, we'll talk about it after the build and wick. Right, let's have a closer look at the Tokamak mouse to long RDA by Unicorn Vapes. I do apologize on my plaster. I knocked my finger a while back and my nail is turning ugly. So I said I'd rather cover it with a plaster. Okay, so what you get is, here's the tank, and you get a bag of another O-ring, and that's a bit important. I'll explain to you in a minute why. 4 screws and another mouthpiece and a Allen key that you need to open up the deck. That's all you get. This is it. Okay, so let's put all this aside and we'll explore the tank. So this is a top airflow, but as you can see, it's not, you can't turn the airflow without undoing the cap first. So your mouthpiece, it's a 510, and this could unscrew. Now this, you can drop your juice through here as well, because your coil will be right down there. And to change the airflow, you need to, you can see, you lift this ring. This is a loose ring, I'll come off in a minute, and then this is most probably 1.6. I don't know the measurements of these holes, but if I have, I'll put them in the description. This is the largest, I suppose 1.8 maybe. And this is 1.2 and 1, I'm assuming. But and then when you got it into your right position, you just tighten it so you get your airflow set at what you chose. And you can see this little 1, 2, 3 and 4. Right, so let's now take this off completely. Now when I first got it, it was very stiff, so I usually clean everything and I put VG on this threading here, otherwise it's quite stiff. So this is the top section of the tank. The machinery is very good, but as I said, you need VG. This is your airflow ring, and you can see the holes in the rim of the tank, and this sticking out piece meets the indent and it sort of clicks in. Yeah, that's basically it. Okay, so let's now, we'll close this and we'll put it on the coil master. And here's the deck. The juice wells are not massively big. No, not massively big, but this is it. For me this is perfect because I'm going to use this as e-liquids review, so I just drip and vape. But if someone wants to use this as an RDA, you can't really put in much juice in it. No. Okay, let's build this deck, and then we'll go through before we build the deck. So if you look at the inside of this dome, you'll see this like inlet that corresponds with your deck. And here you got like a little, a little ridge. It's hard for me to see, so I'm getting my eye. Yep, just like a little ridge here. Now you can see this O-ring. You can see this O-ring. It is quite damaged already. Yeah, it's quite damaged because every time you put the cap on to close it, it pulls a bit of the O-ring off. You see? So that spare O-ring is actually quite important. Right, so I've got a coil here, a round wire that I built myself. I just need the Allen key. Where have I put the Allen key? Oh, it's over here. So hopefully this should be fairly straightforward to put in. I think it might be easier for me to do it with, no, I need the rod here. Just give me a second. I just have to get this in the right place. And this in the right place here. That's it, done. Let me tighten this. I hope I'm in camera. Yeah. I prefer screwdrivers any day. I don't know why they give you these type of screws. I'm not crazy about these type of screws at all.
So screwdriver is just so much easier. Let's make sure the oil is in. Yeah, oil is in. Okay, let's see what's the ohms. 0.99. I wanted a 1 ohm. Yeah, more or less. Let's make sure it works. You don't really need to drive fire because I especially did it spaced. Exactly 101 ohm. Perfect. Okay, let's put in the wick. This is a bit too thin, I think. Maybe not, because the juice wells are fairly small, so I wouldn't over wick it here. This is a 3 millimeter in diameter coil. So what we need to do is now is fluff this up and feed them in the juice wells. That's it. This is an RDA after all. Should soon be too difficult. And make sure they cover the whole space. So I didn't want to over wick it. I was thinking for a minute there, should I put a thicker piece of wick, but then the juice wells are not so big, so I didn't want to overstuff it. Okay, now this juice that I'm going to put in, I already recorded a review on this with my Ameth mouth-to-lung RDA, my good old trusted one. Although I had problems with it, but we'll talk about it on top. But the review will come up eventually, hopefully very shortly. It's a very nice naturally extracted tobacco, rather a dessert naturally extracted tobacco. I will talk about the flavors in depth when I upload this review. So let's right. Okay, this is an RDA, so you can put as much juice as you can, I suppose. Okay, now let's get the airflow, the right. I will try it first at number 3. I'm gonna have to find out the exact measurements of the airflow here, but I assume it's between 1 to 1.8, something like that, millimeters. Yeah, so this looks like a very interesting dome. This should give you very good flavor, I assume, because it's going to be fairly condensed, and going through this narrow mouthpiece you will get the full flavor of the liquid. So yeah, I'm looking forward for that. The only thing I'm worried about, as I said, this O-ring here, where it meets that, but that's fairly easy to put in, and that's a big advantage. Right, so I'm gonna put it for now on. Oh, by the way, this is no squonking pin. This is an ordinary 510. So there's no squonking pin here at all. Maybe you can buy it separately, I'm not sure, but that's what it is. So you could have a good look at the tank. It says here Tokamak, and that's the only branding there is. It's like a polished stainless steel. You can get them in matte black as well. And here's a little scratch. Never mind. Oh, is it a scratch? Not sure. Right. I'm not so particular about these sort of things. I'll put it on my Vaporesso Tarot maybe for now, and let's see what it comes up as. 0. A minute. Yeah, 1. You can see it. 101. 1 ohm coil. Let's go. Oh, 30 watts. My gosh. I'm gonna. Lucky I noticed that. Normally I wouldn't notice it unless if I'm. Right, 16 watts, 1 ohm coil, round wire. Lovely, lovely airflow, wow. Very much a mouth to lung. And the flavor is very good indeed. Very good indeed. Okay, let's talk about on top.
Yeah, so you've seen the build and wick. It's very easy to build, very easy to wick. I mean, it's as easy as it can get. The juice ports or the juice wells are not very big. I've seen RDAs, they are much bigger juice capacity. So if one wants to buy this tank to take with him out and about, you'll need to take with you a bottle of juice. That's one thing you've seen yourself. The juice wells are fairly small. But let's talk about the build quality, the flavor, and the draw. So all these three I just mentioned is top notch. Let me give you an example. This Amit mouth to lung RDA is a very good out and a mouth to lung RDA for me. I sample juices on it. It is a lot less. The build quality is not as good as the Tokamak. That is certain. It's a different type of mouth to lung RDA. I mean, the quality of this tank is just top notch. But when you first get it, if you don't lubricate this top bit, you will find it quite difficult to open and close. So I very much recommend to always lubricate this part here, the threading, and then it's really easy to screw in and change and open to change your airflow. Because that's where I come to the second point. To change your airflow, you need to open this top cap, lift the ring of your airflow, yeah, a bit like a K-Phone Prime type. And when you come to the right slot you want, you just drop it into the little indent. So it gives you the number, it gives you like 1, 2, 3, 4, so you can see exactly where your airflow is standing. I don't know the measurements of this airflow as yet. If anyone can leave it in the comments, that would be great, because I checked everywhere. There's nowhere stated, but I think by visually looking at these holes, looking at, you saw them as well, I think the smallest one is either 0.8 or 1 millimeter, going up to 1.6 to 1.8, something like that. But interesting, the airflow here. I'm at the moment at number 2, for instance. If you can see, yeah, you can see the hole opposite the number 2, and the airflow so tight. It feels to me like a 1 millimeter. So it's a good chance that the number 1 is 0.8. The airflow is very smooth, very smooth and very quiet. And another thing, you get a much stronger throated on this tank than you get on the Amit Geek Vape Amit mouth to lung RDA. That is for certain. It's the same liquid I've been using on this one and on this one. and on the Tokamak it's a much stronger throat hit. So I think it's something to do with the airflow, that it goes from the top and it goes underneath the coil and comes back up, and it gives you a very condensed flavor. So that's the second thing I want to talk about, is the flavor. The flavor on this tank is absolutely superb. It's very defined. I found this liquid that, if you watched my review, yeah, not contrary to what I said in the build and wick, I did upload this review on the Pinnacle. There's a lot of flavors there that need to be discovered, and it's a more of a complex dessert, naturally extracted. And on this one, I really taste every single flavor very vividly indeed. This flavor of the Amit is also good, but this is definitely better. So build quality, airflow, and flavor are better on this, and it reflects in the price. It is very expensive. It is very expensive. I can't take that away. £54 for Mouse to Long RDA is a lot of money, but you do get your money's worth in quality. Now the airflow on the Amit is a lot easier. Obviously, you just turn this wheel. I mean, it's easy as they can come. It's like the Amit Mouse to Long RTA, same idea. You know, you just turn the wheel. Here is more involved. For instance, now I want to get it a bit more airy to a let's say to the highest, maybe. No, I'll do it number 3. That is my preferred. Let me just see. So it's a bit more involved, but as soon as you find your airflow setting, you just leave it there. But it's a bit more involved. So now I've got it on number 3, that I assume is a 1. I don't know for sure. It feels like a 1.2, a 1.4. So I'm not sure. But the draw on this is just perfect. And to add juice is very simple. You just take off your mouthpiece and just drip in your juice. I mean, the coil is right there. Now I don't think you'll get any leaks because it's sealed from all sides, and if you can look, you can see your coil quite visibly. So you just drop your juice there. So I'm not sure how much juice you can put in here without dripping, but without leaking, but I think a fair amount of juice, but not as much as I've seen in other RTAs. So this is, for me, ideal. So they did buy me the right thing for me, because I will test liquids henceforth on this tank. You might see reviews of naturally extracted tobacco on my good old trusted Geek Vape Amit. I mean, you can see yourself now. I'm still struggling. Okay, now I managed to close it, but it served me well, so I might still use it. But you'll still see the older reviews that I've pre-recorded already, but haven't finalized on this tank. But yeah, I will use this now. I mean, it's a better overall quality, flavor, and draw over that. It's not a versus. It's a different. This is a higher end. This is mid-range or even budget. So I do appreciate the fact that they bought it for me. It will come in handy, that is for sure. You feel it more in your throat. So someone did mention to me in the comments about throat hit. How do you get top throat hit? And one of them is airflow. So I mean, this is a restricted airflow going through the coil with quite force and hitting, and your mouthpiece is literally on top of the coil. This is an RDA, it's a dripper. So you're getting the power of a dripper with a mouse to long setting, draw. Yeah, what else could I tell you about this tank? Nothing much more than I'll put below whatever information I could put. Everything else we went through in the build and wick. This is a top tank if you're looking for mouse to long RDA. But remember that if you go out and about with it, you really need to take with you a bottle of juice, because this, within 5 minutes, you need to top it up. It's not like the Nest, for instance, that you can juice it up. The Nest RDA, the mesh coil from Nature Vape that I reviewed, there you can put in quite a lot of juice. You can go out for half an hour, 40 minutes with having to take a bottle of juice. Other RDAs, for the Goat, for instance, could hold a lot of juice. A lot of them from Org Vape, the RDA, could also hold a lot of juice. This is not. Maybe because it's mouth to lung, so you're not vaping it with such high wattage. So it's not going to go through your juice as fast. Maybe that is the reasoning behind it. But the fact is that you can't really put in too much juice in here. I haven't tried to put the maximum amount, but yeah, that's one thing you have to wear and be aware of. And also to change your airflow is a bit more involved. You have to just open, lift that ring, move it to your right place, put it down and close the ring again. Besides that, this is a very nice mouth to lung RDA. And I appreciate very much this lovely gesture. Yeah, so this concludes my review on the Tokamak mouth to lung RDA by Unicorn Vapes. Incidentally, I never heard of Unicorn Vapes. I did hear of them lately as the new RTA they've got mouth to lung. I think it's called Nevermore, and I know they've got some good mech mods, but it's the first time I'm actually trying one of their products, and I'm quite impressed indeed. Okay, this is the review concluded. Until the next time, take care, enjoy your vape, bye bye for now.